What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Merab breaks his nose and shows x-ray. Yesterday was a very interesting day to say the least, with a bunch of fighters revealing fake news as a way to trick fans. Thank God that's finally over. But one big story did drop yesterday, and many are questioning its validity. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video to help support the channel. So what happened? Well, it was a very interesting day. It all started when both Sean O'Malley and Aiemann Zahabi posted a video saying their fight on the UFC White House card was for the interim title.
What's up guys, just got off the phone with Hunter, Dana. Sugar versus Aiemann at the White House is for the interim title. It will be 5 rounds. They said Peter Yan is going to be out till early next year with his back surgery. Right after his back surgery, he's getting hair implants, so he's going to be out for an extra few months. Sugar, Aiemann, interim title at the White House.
And Zahabi basically said the same thing in his video, as if they were following a script or something. Clearly, it was an April Fool's Day joke that the two had planned, right? Well, later on in the day, Merab dropped some huge news, which could, keyword could, mean that what O'Malley and Zahabi announced on their social media might actually be true. Or they might have just gotten super lucky with the timing of Merab's announcement. Who knows? Anyways, Merab posted a video on social media showing that he's currently dealing with a broken nose. During that video, Merab revealed that he got kneed while sparring, which caused the fracture.
What a good day and what a stupid accident. Again, 12 years after, my nose is up. Even worse. As you see, it's even more cracked the same direction. And yeah, when I touch, my bones are broken inside, and one side I can't even breathe. And yeah, I'm gonna do x-ray now. I'm sure UFC will help me with that. Even I don't have a fight coming up, and I'm gonna try to do surgery to fix this nose, and let's see how it goes.
Well, after Merab went and saw a doctor, maybe at the UFC PI, we're not sure, he got an x-ray done, where it was revealed that he had broken his nose in 2 different places. In order for the doctor to fix his nose, they needed to do surgery, which involves breaking his nose in a different spot, and because of that, Merab could be out for a whole year. However, he doesn't seem on board with the surgery at the moment.
It's my nose, it's broke like this?
Yeah, so kind of this, so when you look down, you can see it's, you know, off on this side. The hard part is your nose it's been broken like multiple times. But this widening that we see here, that's the part that we're looking at. Like, is this, you know, how many of these fractures are new versus old, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's always the big debate when you look at these.
I did my x-ray, and x-ray shows that my nose are broken at 2 places. I just saw doctor, nose surgeon. If he will fix my nose and then make straight, he has to rebroke other bones too. It will take 1 more year to heal up. Of course, I don't want to do that. Otherwise, he said, keep it that way and you can do surgery after your retirement. I said I'm not going to retirement next 20 years, so I guess I'm gonna keep my nose even more cracked what it used to be before, and I'm gonna deal with it. I'm still gonna compete at wrestling tournament against Henry Cejudo at RAF. God bless everyone.
So there you have it. Merab is actually deciding not to go down the surgical route and is going to continue to deal with it. But the issue now is the concern around his training camp and sparring. Like the doctor said, it's already broken in 2 different places, and with that, a couple more clean shots to the nose could do a lot of damage. Imagine 4 months before his rematch with Yan, he gets hit in the nose and is forced to go down the surgical route. That would absolutely suck. But not just that, if Merab decides not to get surgery, how will this impact the Cardio King? Well, only time will tell. We're of course hoping Merab has a speedy recovery, and hopefully he doesn't further damage his nose. Seriously Merab, we need you back in that octagon fully healthy and ready to go. Colby Covington is suing Jorge Masvidal. If you all remember back in 2022 when Jorge Masvidal ran down on Colby Covington while at a restaurant in Miami and Jorge allegedly punched Colby and broke one of his teeth. Well, back then, Colby was seen talking to police and got Masvidal arrested for it. But now, years later, Colby is suing Masvidal for damages. According to Andy Slater, Masvidal is being sued for Colby's disability, loss of enjoyment of life, earnings, and more. And on top of that, Colby wants to take it to trial and let the jury decide. Andy wrote, Jorge Masvidal is being sued by Colby Covington for battery 4 years after this incident in Miami Beach. Covington is asking for a jury trial and wants Masvidal to pay for his disability, disfigurement, loss of enjoyment of life, earnings, and more. It'll be interesting what Masvidal has to say about all of this. But what do you think? Does Colby have a strong case here? Or do you think the jury will throw it out and claim Colby is fine since he fights for a living? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. UFC updates. As the UFC heads back to the Apex this weekend with Moicano and Duncan headlining the card, let's take a look at some updates. We'll kick things off with Islam Makhachev possibly teasing his return fight. Yesterday on his Instagram, Makhachev posted a video cleaning his belts and maybe signaling to fans that news might be around the corner. And to be honest, it's not a stretch considering Dana White has come out and said that they're planning for Makhachev to fight in August. So we could get that announcement pretty soon. But the question is, who? We have both Ian Gary and Michael Morales campaigning for the fight. So it'll be interesting to see who the UFC decides to go with. Now, let's move on to one of the names a lot of fans wanted Makhachev to fight, Ilia Topuria. Many of you who keep up with the sport or are fans of Topuria know he always likes to make bold predictions and statements ahead of his fights. Well, it seems like he's already started doing that on social media. Recently, people noticed that Topuria updated his Instagram bio so that his record said 18-0. But as you may know, officially, Ilia's record is 17-0. Any chance Topuria will end up regretting this move? Next, we have Israel Adesanya making his first public appearance following his loss to Joe Pyfer. He was spotted at a Lucha Libre event in Mexico. So yeah, it looks like he went from Seattle straight to Mexico to get his mind off of the fight. Who do you want to see Izzy fight next? Now, let's move on to Raul Rosas Jr. and Deiveson Figueiredo competing. And no, it will not be in the octagon or in an MMA fight. Recently, Hype FC announced that Figueiredo and Rosas Jr. will compete in a submission-only grappling match at the promotion's April 8th card in Sao Paulo, Brazil. The match will serve as the co-main event. And if you're wondering, or don't know, both Raul and Deiveson are Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts, so it'll be fascinating to see if one of them can record a submission victory. The last time we saw Hype FC in Brazil, it was Arman Tsarukyan versus Muhammad Moicano, and with Walter Walker emceeing that event, it was a circus. So mark your calendars for that. We're not sure if Walker will be the host again, but hopefully he is. Speaking of Arman Tsarukyan, he was back on Neon's stream again today and purchased a $1 million Rolls-Royce Mansory. Seriously, does this guy have unlimited money or what? His dad must be super loaded. Anyways, after buying the car and while driving it with Neon asked him if he would wrestle with Colby Covington, and of course, Arman said it's easy money. Then he asked Arman if he thinks he could beat Islam Makhachev, and well, here's what Arman had to say.
Ooh, would you ever wrestle with Colby Covington?
Of course.
Okay.
Easy money.
Oh, that's my friend.
Colby?
Yeah.
Yeah, but bro, for me it's easy money. There is a levels in this game, you know?
You think you could beat anyone when it's just wrestling?
With wrestling?
Yes.
From MMA, yes.
You think you could beat Islam in a wrestling match?
Freestyle wrestling, yeah.
Wow.
Do you agree and think that Arman can beat anyone when it comes to wrestling? It would be sick if Islam cooperated and did an RAF event or hype event with Arman. Could you imagine the numbers that would do? Now, let's move on to some fight announcements. AG Fight was recently the first to report that bantamweights Karol Rosa and Luana Santos will square off at the UFC's June 20th Fight Night card in Vegas. Rosa will be fighting for the first time since last August when she earned a unanimous decision win over Nora Cornoli. As for her opponent, Santos last fought in December and worked her way to a unanimous decision win over Melissa Croden. Next, we have David Van Auken of Fight Bananas reporting that lightweights Tommy Gant and Trey Ogden will fight at the UFC's May 16th Fight Night card in Vegas. Grant will be making his UFC debut after earning himself a contract by tapping out Adam Livingston with a guillotine choke on Dana White's Contender Series last September. Gant has gone 11-0 to date in pro MMA. As for Ogden, he hasn't fought since January 2025, when he lost by decision to Thiago Moises. Next, we'll move on to Aljamain Sterling. Aljo's camp for his April 25th fight with Youssef Zalal appears to be well underway, as recently his buddy and teammate Merab Dvalishvili posted the following clip.
Oh, one more time, baby. Coming back to that belt. One more time.
Do you see Aljo handing Zalal his first UFC loss? Or will the younger Zalal hand Sterling his second loss since 2023? Daniel Cormier fires back at Nate Diaz for comments. As we covered on the channel yesterday, Nate Diaz recently slammed DC while appearing on Theo Von's podcast. Not only did Nate roast DC for questioning some of the decisions he's made in his career, he's also claimed that he's made more money than DC. Well, not surprisingly, it didn't take Cormier long to respond. On his YouTube channel, DC proceeded to compare his record against Diaz's, while calling out how many times Diaz has lost. Here's the clip.
It's hard for me to fathom losing to 13 people in the sport that you chose. When I lost those fights, I was in my mid to late 30s, and 2 dudes were able to get me. Well, you were losing fights in your 20s. You were in your absolute athletic prime in a sport that you chose. Come on. But you want to talk about me, Mr. Champion. Nate Diaz is 40 years old and he's going to make $10 million to fight. And I am happy for him. When I was 40 years old, I was in Anaheim fighting for the UFC Heavyweight Championship. When I was 41 years old, I was fighting for the UFC Championship. That's what I keep telling you, Nathan. We are different people. We're different people. But you made more money in 2 fights. He fought Conor McGregor. He just kind of loses his mind. Somebody got to check him. At this point, he might need a handler. He said, you cried. Maybe you should have cried more than maybe we would think you care about winning and losing. Maybe if you cried, Nathan, you wouldn't be so okay with losing. Because I cried because losing to me was like death. You get beat on a Saturday. On Monday, you're talking again like you're the best in the world. There's a side of Nate Diaz that most people don't know. You're a family man. You're not a thug. You mad because somebody talking about how you're average. Reality is you're average. You've always been.
Will this be the last we hear of this? Chances are probably not, especially since Nate has an upcoming fight next month, and I'm sure there's plenty of media scheduled around that event. But what do you think of DC's response? Do you think Nate is an average fighter who managed to record a win in one of the biggest fights in MMA history? Speaking of Conor, for a long time now, there's been talk about if and when a third fight with Diaz would materialize, and earlier this year, there was speculation that the UFC would work to make it happen. Well, now that Diaz is fighting Perry, and because Nate has said he's not interested in fighting McGregor right now, many believe that chapter has closed. Chael Sonnen recently spoke with Mike Bond from MMA Junkie, and he outlined why he also doesn't see the trilogy fight happening.
Forget McGregor versus Diaz 3.
No, I don't think so. My guess on Conor is that we're going to get him one more time, and I think that we should really enjoy it. Now, if you speak to Conor, and I did, you're going to get him a minimum of 3 more times. Conor's going to do a couple fights, and he's going to go over and box. Whoever wins between Mayweather and Pacquiao, if you talk to Conor, he's going to go in and fight him. He means it. He's sincere. He's not out there promoting. He means it. I'm just sharing. You get a little older, and you go through a training camp, and you make the weight. You go out there, and you kind of really, you know what? You can kind of change your mind over times, and if he has this great, glorious moment, maybe that's a great time to exit stage left. He has a terrible moment. Maybe that's a good time to exit. I think we're going to get Conor for one more fight. I think we're probably going to miss out on the trilogy, sadly.
Renato Moicano and Chris Duncan trained together for main event fight. If you followed MMA for a while, you know there have been multiple cases of teammates refusing to fight one another, or in some cases, fighters being forced to leave a gym because they were on a collision course with their teammate. Well, this coming Saturday, Renato Moicano and Chris Duncan will throw down in the headliner of the UFC's latest Apex card. And not only have they trained together extensively in the past, it sounds like they've taken no steps at all to avoid running into one another at American Top Team. Following Media Day for Chris Duncan, Jake Noker from Homa Fight tweeted this. Chris Duncan confirms that he and Renato Moicano did indeed both train at American Top Team at the same time this camp for their main event fight against each other. He says they got so close that they even shared the sauna together. And while discussing his relationship with Moicano, he complimented him and also acknowledged Renato messed him up during his early days at ATT. Check it out.
You guys are actually training like alongside each other in the same room for this fight.
Yeah, he was in the same gym, and then we were in the sauna together, and like, I don't, a lot of people, I'm sorry if this comes across wrong, but a lot of people like you don't get what I'm doing, and me and Moicano do. Like, we have so much respect for each other that, you know, like, it's going to be fighting, and like I said, it's going to be an equaliser on Saturday night. Whoever wins, wins. And, you know, people can't fathom that, and that's why people like to watch, because people are not bred like me, where I'm on a different level. The calibre of opponents he's went through, and his grappling is exceptional. He's f***ing up many times in the gym when I first started going there. So, you know, I learned a lot from him. He was kind enough to share some details. You know, he's a good guy. Like, and we're just going to fight on Saturday night. And I've accomplished so much in the last 5 years. I've gotten much better as a fighter over the last 5 years, because I wouldn't be sitting here today if I didn't think I could beat Moicano.
And on the flip side, when Moicano was talking with the media, he also praised Duncan before promising it will be all business on Saturday night.
Yeah, it was a little bit different, you know, because I never thought that I would fight somebody from American Top Team, but it happens. And then I just have to be cordial, you know, respectful. I respect him. I don't have nothing against him. I just want to win, you know. I want to win that fight. And I have no bad blood at all. So, but don't get me any wrong. I go over there to finish him.
It'll be interesting to see how this fight plays out, as it's a pivotal bout for both of them. Moicano is looking to get back on track after losing 2 in a row, and another loss might push him out of the top 15 rankings. Granted, losing to Islam Makhachev and Beneil Dariush is nothing to hang your head about. Before those defeats, Moicano had won 4 straight, which included an impressive victory over Benoit Saint-Denis. Meanwhile, Duncan is looking to jump into those rankings with what would be his 5th straight win. Since he was submitted by Manuel Torres on February 2024, Duncan has defeated Bolaji Oki, Jordan Vucenic, Mateusz Rebecki, and most recently, Terrence McKinney. Who are you picking to win this fight? Let us know your prediction in the comments below. MMA community goes off on Sean Strickland for video. Sean Strickland is known to stir the pot when it comes to controversy, and well, it looks like he's back at it again. Strickland posted to his Instagram story showing him drinking an Old English 840 ounce, which, if you didn't know, is an alcoholic beverage, and I'm pretty sure that's not what fighters in fight camps are supposed to be doing. He also posted another picture that showed him on a motorcycle smoking, with the caption that wrote, "I don't smoke, but if I do, I'm wearing a gold chain and rocking a Glock in my pocket with a 30-round clip." It's official, I'm getting a Hellcat. The MMA community went off on Strickland for these comments, claiming that he isn't taking the Khamzat fight serious and that he needs to get focused for the biggest fight of his life. Here's what the community had to say. He knows he's cooked versus Khamzat, so he might as well do nothing because it'll be a waste of time either way. Still doing the same bit, just with a phone in his hand now. Strickland's entire IG is basically a head trauma diary. Only 1 month away from Khamzat fight, by the way. Why is this guy not locked in and training? Prepping to get his beat, being an edgy for clicks. Same thing he's been doing for the past 5 years. Sean is just becoming corny at this point, and if you think otherwise, you're glazing a whole man. He knows he's gonna lose. No need to spend 6 months training. Have fun, get the bag. Anyone thinking this doesn't have CTE or some cognitive issues is lying to themselves. What do you think? Is Sean just trolling people on social media, or do you think that he isn't taking the Khamzat fight seriously? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And that'll wrap up everything. If you guys enjoyed the video and want to see daily MMA news, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to stay updated. We'll see you all tomorrow.